Hi, I'm Dr. M.A. Malik, Assistant Professor of Economics. As part of series of video lectures on economics, today I am going to talk on planning in India. That is economic planning in India. I will explain this topic with the help of PPTs. Let me share you the PPT. So economic planning in India, as I have told, myself, Dr. M.A. Malik, Assistant Professor of Economics, presently working at Government Degree College, Kukatpalli. This is my email ID too. Today, otherwise, this topic we explain as per this content. First, we explain the meaning of economic planning. Then we see how the planning process takes place. Next, we go to India's 5-year plans. In that, we first see objectives of economic planning in India. After that, we analyze the achievements of India's 5-year plannings. We also see the limitations, otherwise failures of India's 5-year planning. And lastly, we touch Niti Aayog. So these are the contents in today's class. First, meaning of economic planning. Pranalika ante emiti? An outline to realize certain objectives, targets on the basis of priorities within the specified period of time is called planning or economic planning. It is an outline. It is an outline to realize certain objectives, targets on the basis of priorities within specified period of time. So we have some elements in planning. What are the elements? We have objects, and we have targets, and we have priorities, and we have the period. Within specific period, some objective are to be fixed, and some targets are to be fixed. They are to be achieved on the basis of priority. These are the 4 elements in the planning. That is objectives, targets, priorities, and period, time. For example, in economic planning, if we fix as a 5 years period, within the 5 years period, we have to fix the objectives. For example, objectives, eradication of poverty and providing employment opportunities. For example, what are the targets? Targets within that 5 years period, how much you reduce the poverty? That is the target. How many employment days you are going to provide employment? That is target. Objective is to eradicate the poverty. Target is how much you eradicate within these 5 years. Objective is to provide employment opportunities. Target is how many employment days you will provide within this 5 years period. And priority. Priority means there are so many objectives, but for which you are giving more priority. Otherwise, the priority basis. For example, we have allocated more resources to eradicate the poverty, then by unemployment, then by literacy, then by health. So these are the priority base. Okay, the sector which got highest resources in that particular plan is said to be got priority. That sector got priority in that particular plan. So these are the elements in meaning of economic planning itself. We have the period. Within that period, we may have the objectives, we may have the targets, and that are to be achieved on the basis of priority. That is economic planning. Okay. ప్రణాళిక అంటే నిర్ణీత ఆశయాలను, లక్ష్యాలను ప్రాధాన్యతా క్రమంలో నిర్ణీత కాలములో ఛేదించే ఒక ప్రయత్నమే ప్రణాళిక. కాలం ఉంటుంది, ఆశయాలు ఉంటాయి, లక్ష్యాలు ఉంటాయి. వాటిని ప్రాధాన్యతా క్రమంలో ఆ కాలంలో ఛేదించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం, సాధించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. దానిని ప్రణాళిక అంటారు. ఓకే, ప్రణాళిక అంటే అర్థమైంది. నిర్ణీత కాలంలో నిర్ణీత ఆశయాలను, నిర్ణీత లక్ష్యాలను ప్రాధాన్యతా క్రమంలో ఛేదించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్, ప్లానింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది? ఒక ఎకానమీలో, ఒక దేశంలో, ఒక దేశం మొత్తానికి ప్రణాళిక రూపొందించాలని అనుకున్నప్పుడు ప్రణాళిక ఎలా ఉంటుంది? ముందుగా ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థను విశ్లేషిస్తాం. ఫస్ట్ వి అనలైజ్ ద ఎకానమీ. దట్ మీన్స్ what position economy status now we analyze. This analyzing process starts with identification of problems. Analyzing economy in the sense, first, what are the problems of economy? What are the problems of Indian economy? We have to identify first. Then, what are the resources we have? We have to estimate. Then fix the objectives. After fix the targets, and decide the priorities. This is the planning process. First, identification of problems. మనం ఎదుర్కొంటున్న సమస్యలను గుర్తించడం. ఆ సమస్య ఏం కావచ్చు? నిరక్షరాస్యత కావచ్చు, అనారోగ్యం కావచ్చు, నిరుద్యోగం కావచ్చు, పేదరికం కావచ్చు, పర్యావరణ సమస్య కావచ్చు, ప్రాంతీయ అసమానతలు కావచ్చు. ఏ సమస్యలనైతే ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థ ఎదుర్కొంటున్నదో ఆ సమస్యలను గుర్తించాలి. గుర్తించిన తర్వాత మన దగ్గర ఉన్న వనరులు ఏంటో గుర్తించాలి. ఎస్టిమేషన్ ఆఫ్ రిసోర్సెస్. వనరులను అంచనా వేసుకోవాలి. The resources may be human resources, maybe physical resources. Physical resources may be in the form of natural resources, and within the natural resources, maybe it is the land, how much fertile land, and maybe it is water, how much river water, otherwise other groundwater we have available, and how much forest products, how much mines, all those things. What are the resources we have? We have to estimate. Either may be human resources or may be non-human resources. We have to estimate. Determination of objectives. After estimation of the resources, we have to decide objectives. అంటే లక్ష్యాలను నిర్ణయించుకోవాలి. లక్ష్యాలను అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ పేదరికం సమస్యను మనం గుర్తించాం. పేదరిక నిర్మూలన లక్ష్యం కావాలి. వన్స్ వి ఐడెంటిఫై ద poverty as a problem, then we have to fix the objective as eradication of poverty becomes objective. As objective. If we identify the unemployment is our problem, then providing employment opportunities becomes our objective. Like that. If illiteracy is there as our problem, providing literacy becomes our objective. Like that. Next one, fixing the targets. We have fixed eradication of poverty is our objective. How much can we eradicate within this specified period? That is the target. 5%, 10%, or in absolute figures, 5 million, 10 million, like that. Otherwise, we have to increase the GDP. That is our objective. If that is our objective, how much we can increase the GDP? Or increase in per capita income is our objective. How much per capita income can be increased within this specified period of time? That is target. That is our target. Then after fixing the targets, we have to decide the priorities. Priorities in the sense, to achieve this, we have to allocate the resources. In the process of allocating resources, we have to decide the priorities. For which sector we have to give more resources. So the sector which gets highest resources in that particular plan is said to be got prioritized sector. అట్లా సమస్యలను గుర్తించి వనరులను అంచనా వేసి లక్ష్యాలను నిర్ణయించుకొని తర్వాత నిర్దేశిత లక్ష్యాలను నిర్ణయించుకొని ప్రాధాన్యతా క్రమంలో వాటిని ఛేదించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాము. దీనినే ప్రణాళిక ప్రక్రియ అంటారు. నెక్స్ట్ we go to India's 5-year plans. You see, what are the India's 5-year plans? What is their period? The first 5-year plan period is 1951 to 56, and second 5-year plan is 1956 to 61. Then third 5-year plan is 61 to 66. Of course, 66 to 69 was a planning holiday. Again, 69 to 74, fourth 5-year plan. 74 to 79, 5-year plan. 80 to 85, 6th 5-year plan. 85 to 90, 7th 5-year. And 90, 91, 91, 92, that was not part of 5-year plan, only annual plans were there. Again, 9th 5-year plan, 97 to 2002, and 10th 5-year plan, 2002 to 2007, and 11th is 2007 to 2012, and 12th is 2012 to 2017. Of course, in between this 12th 5-year plan, in the sense, during the 12th 5-year plan only, in the year 2014, the planning commission was abolished. But planning period continued till the 2017. After 2017, there is no plan. In the year 2015, the institution, namely National Institute for Transforming India, was set up. So since then, there is no 5-year plans at all. There is no planning commission. There is no 5-year planning system in India. Okay, so far in the sense, till the 2017, 12 5-year plans implemented. In between, during 1966 to 69, and 91 to 90, 1990, 91, 1991, 92. Annual plans for this. This is the planning periods in India. Next, what are the objectives of India's economic plan? భారత ప్రణాళిక వ్యవస్థ యొక్క లక్ష్యాలు, భారత పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల లక్ష్యాలు. If we observe all 5-year plans, we can outline the main objectives like this. Otherwise, the general objectives of all 5-year plans, we can outline this like this. Number 1 is increase in national income and per capita. జాతీయ ఆదాయాన్ని తలసరి ఆదాయాన్ని పెంచడం లేదా జాతీయ ఆదాయంలో తలసరి ఆదాయంలో పెరుగుదల సాధించడం. This objective is found in every 5-year plan. In every 5-year plan. Because at the time of independence, India's per capita income, of course, national income was very low, and government planning commission determined to increase this national income, develop national income, and by controlling population, they wanted to increase per capita income of the people also. The next one is agriculture development. The first 5-year plan has the agriculture development as main objective. Not only objective, regarding allocation of resources also, agriculture sector got highest priority in first 5-year plan. Of course, in first 5-year plan, in third 5-year plan, in fourth 5-year, agriculture sector got highest priority in terms of allocating resources. Next one is industrial development, పారిశ్రామిక రంగ అభివృద్ధి. The second 5-year plan has industrial development as main objective. Of course, highest resources to allocated to industrial sector during second 5-year plan and fifth 5-year. పారిశ్రామిక రంగ అభివృద్ధి పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన లక్ష్యాల ఒకటిగా కనిపిస్తుంది. ప్రత్యేకించి రెండవ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళిక, 5వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలో ఎక్కువ నిధుల కేటాయింపు పారిశ్రామిక రంగానికి జరిగింది. Achieving self-sufficiency and self-reliance. This is also one of the main objectives of India's 5-year plan. Achieving self-sufficiency and self-reliance. What is meant by self-sufficiency? Self-sufficiency in the sense the country has to fulfill its people's needs having the capacity to produce it. Okay, the country has to fulfill needs of the population, and that needs to be fulfilled by the goods or services. That goods and services are to be produced. Otherwise, the country shall have to produce that much of goods and services within the country. That is called self-sufficiency. For example, India needs 300 million tons of food grains to fulfill its people's hunger per year. So India should have the capacity to produce 300 million tons of food grains within the country. Then we can tell that India has self-sufficiency in food grain production. స్వయం సమృద్ధి అంటే ఒక దేశం తన అవసరాలను దేశంలో జరిగిన ఉత్పత్తి ద్వారా తీర్చుకునే శక్తిని కలిగి ఉండాలి. భారతదేశానికి 300 మిలియన్ టన్నుల ఆహార ధాన్యాలు అవసరము అనుకుంటే 300 మిలియన్ టన్నుల ఆహార ధాన్యాలను భారతదేశంలోనే ఉత్పత్తి చేయగల శక్తిని భారతదేశం కలిగి ఉంది. దాన్ని స్వయం సమృద్ధి. Then what is meant by self-reliance? Self-reliance in the sense, country shall be able to fulfill its needs. Here the word missing is by producing within the country. In self-reliance, there is no requirement of within the country, but country shall be able to fulfill the needs of its people. In the sense, you can import the commodity from other countries to fulfill your people's needs. But for the import, you should not depend on others. In the sense, you should not ask the loan. You have to export something and gain foreign exchange. With that foreign exchange, you have to import the goods. So this is called self-reliance. You are importing the goods by demanding, not by requesting. By demanding, yes, I can purchase your goods if you have it. Like that. When you can demand it, if you have the purchasing power. When it comes to the foreign country, purchasing power means foreign currency. You need foreign currency. For the foreign currency, what you have to do? You have to export something, then gain foreign currency. With that foreign currency, you have to import the goods. That is called self-reliance. Self-sufficiency is considered. Self-sufficiency is you have to produce the good. Otherwise, you should have the potential to produce the goods within the country. But in the self-reliance, you may not produce the goods within the country, but you should be in a position to import the goods. That position, that potential comes to you when you are exporting something and getting foreign exchange. With that foreign exchange, you can import the commodity. That is called self-reliance. స్వయం సమృద్ధి, స్వావలంబన. స్వయం సమృద్ధి అంటే ఒక దేశం తన అవసరాలను తీర్చుకునే స్థాయి, తన అవసరాలను తన దేశంలో జరిగే ఉత్పత్తి ద్వారా తీర్చుకోగలగాలి. స్వయం సమృద్ధి. స్వావలంబన అంటే ఒక దేశం తన అవసరాలను తీర్చుకోగలగాలి, విదేశాల మీద ఆధారపడకుండా అంటే విదేశాలను అప్పు అడగకుండా. అంటే విదేశాలను నుండి వస్తువుల్ని దిగుమతి చేసుకోవచ్చు, సేవల్ని దిగుమతి చేసుకోవచ్చు, కానీ ఎలా? విదేశీ మారక ద్రవ్యం చెల్లించి చేసుకోవాలి, అప్పు అడిగి కాదు. విదేశీ మారక ద్రవ్యం చెల్లించాలి అంటే నువ్వేం చేయాలి? నువ్వు కొన్ని వస్తువులను కానీ సేవలను కానీ ఎగుమతి చేయాలి, విదేశీ మారక ద్రవ్యం ఆర్జించాలి. ఆ ఆర్జించిన విదేశీ మారక ద్రవ్యంతో నీకు కావలసిన వస్తువులను సేవలను దిగుమతి చేసుకునే శక్తిని నీవు కలిగి ఉన్నప్పుడు దాన్ని సెల్ఫ్ రిలయన్స్ అంటారు. అప్పు అడగకుండా నువ్వు నీ అవసరాలను తీర్చుకోగలగాలి. దట్ ఈస్ సెల్ఫ్ రిలయన్స్. నెక్స్ట్, వన్ ఆఫ్ ది మెయిన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఈస్ ఎరాడికేషన్ ఆఫ్ పవర్టీ. పేదరిక నిర్మూలన. పేదరిక నిర్మూలన కూడా భారత పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన లక్ష్యాల్లో ఒకటిగా ఉంది. అయితే till the completion of third 5-year plan, there is no mention of eradication of poverty in objectives. మూడవ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళిక పూర్తయ్యే వరకు పేదరిక నిర్మూలన అనేది, ఆ మాటకొస్తే నాలుగవ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలు కూడా పేదరిక నిర్మూలన భారత పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన లక్ష్యాల్లో ఒకటిగా లేదు. ఎందుకు అంటే, దెన్ ద ప్లానింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ assume if we are able to increase the national income, that can percolate to the poor people so that poverty will be eradicated. To increase the national income, we have to invest more so that employment opportunities will be more and people will get income and poverty will be eradicated. This was called trickle down effect. Till the completion of fourth 5-year plan, the planning process aimed to increase the national income, to eradicate poverty and to eradicate unemployment. That is the reason it was never mentioned in the first 5-year plans. But what happened? National income was increasing, but poverty level also increased. National income was increasing, but unemployment position also increased. That was the reason some economists identified, no, there should be a specific plan to eradicate poverty and eradicate unemployment. Just by increasing national income, we can't eradicate the poverty. Trickle down effect is utterly failure. Some people done research and published papers and books. Tandekar and Rath, Poverty in India, was written during this time only. That is the reason to change the strategy of the plannings, specific programs were initiated. For that purpose, first time in 5th 5-year plan, one of the main objective was eradication of poverty. And during 6th 5-year plan, eradication of poverty is the main objective. The 5th 5-year plan, eradication of poverty is there, but along with that, self-reliance was also main objective. But in 6th 5-year plan, eradication of poverty is main objective. Because the planning strategy changed. Specific programs to eradicate poverty and unemployment were started. In that aspect, eradication of poverty is one of the main objectives. పేదరిక నిర్మూలన భారత పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన ఆశయాలలో ఒకటిగా ఉంది. అయితే 4వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళిక పూర్తయ్యే వరకు పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన లక్ష్యాలలో పేదరిక నిర్మూలన కనిపించలేదు. కారణం ఏంటంటే, జాతీయ ఆదాయాన్ని పెంచగలిగితే ఆ ఆదాయం పేద ప్రజలకు చేరుతుంది, ఆ రకంగా పేదరికం నిర్మూలించబడుతుంది అని ప్రణాళిక రూపకర్తలు ప్రభుత్వాలు నమ్మాయి. కానీ అలా జరగకపోయేసరికి పేదరికం కోసం ప్రత్యేక పథకాల అవసరం ఉంది అనే ఒక వ్యూహానికి ప్రణాళికవేత్తలు వచ్చి 5వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలో మెయిన్ అబ్జెక్టివ్స్ లో ఒకటిగా పేదరిక నిర్మూలన చేర్చారు. 6వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలో ప్రధాన లక్ష్యమే పేదరిక నిర్మూలన అని చెప్పారు. అందువల్ల 5వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలో 6వ పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలో పేదరిక నిర్మూలన పథకాలు పెద్ద ఎత్తున ఆరంభం కావడాన్ని మనం చూస్తాం. ఇంకా రిమూవల్ ఆఫ్ అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్, నిరుద్యోగ నిర్మూలన కూడా పేదరిక పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికల ప్రధాన లక్ష్యాలలో ఒకటిగా ఉంది. రెడ్యూసింగ్ ఇన్కమ్ ఇన్ఈక్వాలిటీస్, ఆదాయ అసమానతల తగ్గింపును కూడా పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలు చాలాసార్లు పేర్కొన్నారు. బ్యాలెన్స్డ్ రీజనల్ డెవలప్మెంట్, సంతులిత ప్రాంతీయ అభివృద్ధిని సాధించడాన్ని కూడా పంచవర్ష ప్రణాళికలు ఒక లక్ష్యంగా పెట్టుకున్నారు. సంతులిత ప్రాంతీయ అభివృద్ధి అంటే దేశంలోని అన్ని ప్రాంతాలలో గల వనరులను ఆర్థికాభివృద్ధికి సమాన నిష్పత్తిలో వినియోగించడం. ఇక మోడర్నైజేషన్, ఆధునీకరణ, రీసెర్చ్ అండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ని ప్రోత్సహించడం, encourage the research and development, and adoption of new technology, that is modernization. Encouraging research and development and adoption of new technology, either in production process or in distribution process, that is called modernization. Plan aimed it. India's plans aimed it. And inclusive growth. Inclusive growth is, of course, it was underlying principle from the first year plan to 10th 5-year plan, but during the 11th 5-year plan, inclusive growth became the main objective of India's 5-year plan, 11th 5-year, during the 11th 5-year. Inclusive growth in the sense what? Growth which includes marginalized sections also. Growth which includes all the regions of the country. Growth which includes all the sectors of economy. Growth should take place in all sectors. Growth should occur in all areas, and growth of income should increase regarding all sections of life. Otherwise, the benefits of the growth should reach all the people. Especially, growth shall care the marginalized, poorest of the poor. In India is concerned scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, minorities, OBCs, and women. This was specially mentioned in inclusive growth. Growth should care. Otherwise, growth fruits should reach these marginalized people. Otherwise, these marginalized sections should participate in growth process. All the areas of the country, all the regions of the country should participate in growth process. All the sectors of the economy, agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector, growth should take place in all the sectors, not only in one sector. So, అన్ని రంగాల వృద్ధి, అన్ని వర్గాల వృద్ధి, అన్ని ప్రాంతాల వృద్ధి, లేదా వృద్ధి ప్రతిఫలాలు అన్ని వర్గాలు అనుభవించాలి, అన్ని ప్రాంతాలలో వృద్ధి జరగాలి, అన్ని రంగాలలో వృద్ధి ఉండాలి. అట్లా growth of all sections, of course. Otherwise, growth shall care all the sections of the people, especially SCs, STs, OBCs, minorities, and women, and all the regions and all the sectors. That is called inclusive growth. It is one of the main objective in 11th 5-year plan. In 12th 5-year plan also, inclusive growth, more inclusive growth, accelerated, sustainable, and more inclusive growth is main objective of 12th 5-year plan. And of course, sustainable development, in the sense, growth shall care environmental balance. Not only just growth should also care environmental balance. These are the objectives of India's 5-year plans. Of course, specific objectives and priorities. Priority in the sense, the sector which got highest resources allocation is called priority. You can see, first 5-year plan, agriculture development is the main objective. Priority gone to agriculture sector. Second 5-year plan, industrial development is main objective. Priority gone to industrial sector. Third 5-year plan, self-sufficiency and self-reliance is main objective. Priority gone to agriculture sector. Fourth 5-year plan, growth with stability is main objective. Priority gone to agriculture sector. And fifth 5-year plan, self-reliance and eradication of poverty is main objective, and priority gone to industrial sector. Sixth 5-year plan, eradication of poverty is main objective. Priority gone to energy sector. And from that onwards, all the plans given highest priority to energy sector. As a single item, energy sector got highest resource allocation, all the plans from the 6th to 12th. And main objective is 7th 5-year plan, food to productivity and employment. food grain production is to be increased, and productivity should be increased per acre, per head. Production per acre, production per head is to be increased, and employment, 7th point. And human development in the sense health and education. By providing good health and good education, human development could be like this. Agriculture, rural development with a view to eradicate and poverty, 9th 5-year plan objective. High growth rates, 10th 5-year plan objective. 11th plan objective is inclusive growth, as I have told. And 12th plan's objective is accelerated, sustainable and more inclusive growth. వేగవంతమైన, సుస్థిరమైన, మరింత సమ్మిళిత వృద్ధి. వేగవంతమైన అంటే ఎక్కువ రేటుతో వృద్ధి జరగాలి. సుస్థిరమైన అంటే ప్రస్తుత తరాల అవసరాలను తీరుస్తూ భవిష్యత్తు తరాల అవసరాలను కూడా దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకోవాలి. అండ్ మోర్ ఇంక్లూజివ్ గ్రోత్, మార్జినలైజ్ సెక్షన్స్, మార్జినలైజ్ సెక్షన్ ని గ్రోత్ ప్రాసెస్ లో తీసుకురావాలి. అట్లా యాక్సలరేటెడ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ హై రేట్ ఆఫ్ గ్రోత్, సస్టైనబుల్, ద గ్రోత్ విచ్ not only fulfills the needs of the present generation, also keeps the aspirations of future generation. And more inclusive growth, all marginalized sections, especially poorest of the poor, is to be involved in the growth process. So today we have seen what is planning process, what are the main objectives of the India's planning, and what are the specific objectives of India's 5-year plans. In the next class, we will continue the planning session, and this planning in the next class we will see what are the achievements of India's 5-year plans and what are the limitations of India's 5-year plans. Part 1 of planning, we have seen what is planning process, what are the general objectives of India's 5-year plans, and what are the specific objectives of India's 5-year plans. With this, today I end the session. In the next class, you are going to see achievements of India's 5-year plans and failures of India's 5-year plans. Thank you for patiently hearing. Thank you.